Hi, it's Jesus on the Fly. We're a little early today, so we are going to just jump in and study Matthew 7. We're moving on to Matthew 7. We're going to do verses 1 through 6. Do you want to read them, or do you want me to read them?
I'll read them since I should.
Okay.
Judge not, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you seek the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when there's a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you.
All right.
That's it.
I want to talk about logs and specks and dogs and pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pastor Dave, what are your thoughts off the top of your head here?
I mean, we're all hypocrites in some way, so that kind of covers the first part. No, we'll talk more about it, but and then the second part is kind of like almost the opposite of like the judgment part. It's almost like, don't be so hard with the law, but don't be so free with the gospel.
Yeah. I noticed that too. Goes. I don't think I had ever knew that the passages were connected. Like the pearls before swine thing was connected to the log and speck. Mm-hmm. And so I think I noticed that too. Like there's a place for boundaries, and then there's a place for like a lot of grace, and like the bulk of the passage right there is really about grace. Like, hey, notice your own problems before you go into telling other people about their problems, which I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying about hypocritical, and Jesus does say, you hypocrite. So that's why you connect that, but I think we overemphasize that. Like we overemphasize like that phrase, hypocrite, and then we miss like the rest. I think Jesus is just like look internally, like look at your heart, look where you're at. And so it's a judgment from Jesus, but even in that there's a lot of grace from Jesus, like that he's actually telling us like where to look instead of just telling us like, get it together,
Yeah. I mean, it's not as much maybe about like just judging others all the time, which, I mean, he is talking about that, but also like it's more about like reflect on yourself before you reflect on other people kind of deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I think it's almost not necessarily about like judging other people like in the way that we think sometimes like that you're judgmental. You're like, you think that you're going to be helping somebody by telling them this, and it's like,
that's happened so
no,
often.
That's not helpful because you are doing something that's worse than what I'm doing. So clearly, you can't help me. I mean,
I think that
it's not about judging. It's about like you can't help the other person, as much. I guess the way that we think about judging is maybe different than this exactly.
Okay, this is like one of my pet peeve topics because I do think we live in a very like judgmental society. We like live, especially with the internet, but I mean before the internet, we were all like throwing around what we thought people should be doing all the time. You know what I mean? And so I like your reflection that I think you were getting to a little bit ago, that like really what Jesus is calling us toward is not do this, don't do that, but it is like self-reflection. It's like introspection, like not that we're not concerned about everyone else because we're also like loving our neighbors as ourselves. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, we have to take a moment to be concerned with where we're at. And I think that is both a law and a gospel-based thing. Like we're going to find stuff we don't like. We're going to find stuff that's kind of ugly inside of us. But, as a therapist, like people are really reticent to take any time, money, or energy for themselves to like look at their stuff, to look at what's going on in here and in their heart and their mind and all of that stuff. And so, and then we wonder why kids have such a hard time doing that, when we as adults are like, no, we do not want to take the minute to look at our stuff. So I guess for me, I think this passage obviously is about judgment and judging other people, but how do we actually stop judging other people is actually just take a minute to sit with our own stuff instead of letting our own stuff like barf out at other people, which I think is what happens a lot, like the judgment. It's not like we were like, well, I'm going to walk around and judge people today. Instead, it's like, it just comes out and we're just judgmental. We're just telling people what we think, and we're telling people what we think of other people, and we're telling the internet what we think is the right way to do parenting or to do life or to do relationships and work and all that stuff. And like, it all stems from the junk we have going on in here that we just haven't done anything about, or let Jesus tend to, maybe is the more spiritual reflection of it. We haven't let him root around in us and, forgive and redeem and restore and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's another, I think that is true, but I think there's another side of like our culture where we're ultra sensitive to judgment. Like other people aren't judging us.
No feedback is what you're saying. Like we don't want any kind of feedback. Like we're
which
closed.
Is like also like I think sometimes we're doing that to ourselves. We're like, I don't want to be critical of anything I'm doing because I should have the freedom to do whatever I want, kind of thing. Although, it doesn't go to that extreme necessarily, but like we're ultra not critical, or we're ultra sensitive to someone being critical of us or judging us, when maybe that we need to kind of change our perspective a little bit and say, okay, now maybe this is more my problem. I don't know. I think it's hard, like in our culture, I think we have it like kind of both going on.
Yeah. Don't you think that's
it's like, don't judge me,
Don't you think that's the pearls before swine thing is like, know your relationships, essentially. Like, okay, so Jesus died and rose for us. That's what we were teaching the midweek kids last night. Like, so he's the one we're going to listen to. We're going to listen to Jesus because he, like, has sacrificed for this relationship. Like, we know he is love. We know where he's at in the relationship. And, same thing, like, we're willing to listen and take feedback from people who have put the energy into their relationship, and vice versa. I can't expect people to take my feedback if I haven't put energy into that relationship. Otherwise, you're in the pearls before swine situation of verse 6, where it's like, I'm casting feedback. Of course you're not going to take it because like we don't have any basis. You have no basis to believe that I mean well, that I have your best interests at heart, So I think that's one reason Jesus at the end of the passage about like, don't judge other people is like, also consider their relationship. Are these swine? Are these people that don't have a say in your life? Or are they people who do have a say? Are you doing life together? There's a place for where we can share truth and love. Like you can't stand on a street corner and like trumpet what you think people should be doing. That's what Facebook is. To some degree, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You have to consider whether you have a relationship in order to share that feedback.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really judgmental when we like pass around articles that say, oh, you should do this way, but we're sharing it with like thousands of people that we don't eat dinner with on a regular basis. And we don't, it's only so helpful, I guess,
Yeah.
And that's not the way we intended. We intend to be helpful.
Right. Yeah. I think that we are like, I think you're right. We need to discern like our relationship with that person. Not that, I think that there's something to what you were saying as far as, it's not that the people we should literally consider them like swine or dogs.
Right.
Like, it's just that
that's not the way Jesus
we're not in a relationship where we're going to be benefiting them by sharing, some really good insight. We might have something really good to share with them, but if we don't have the relationship, it's just useless. And, even just like Jesus, where, not everybody believes in Jesus, right? Not everybody like accepts Jesus. So for us to say like, well, Jesus loves you and cares about you, like they don't get it, you know. And it actually can have the opposite effect where people can come back at us. I don't know.
You have to know where the person's at, and like lead with that.
Unfortunately, the end result can be like they come back and attack you because they, I don't know, you somehow are making them mad by assuming that they need help, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, no, I don't need help, and so get off my back, and actually I'm just gonna attack you with like more like judgment and problems because like they don't want to hear it, you know.
Yeah.
They take it as like judgment, even though maybe that's what I was getting at before.
There were people that even Jesus was always like going around the countryside, and we have to wrap this up soon, but teaching and stuff. But I mean, I don't know that every person, as scripture I think reflects, like he was like, let me tell you who I am, the Son of God, come to save the world. You know what I mean? Like he was sharing the message of who he was, and he was sharing the message like this, like don't judge others, and you are loved by the God of the universe, all of this story. But I mean, there was a way that he went about that and how he selected where he was sharing what and stuff. Like I just don't, you know, the New Testament Gospels aren't just Jesus repeating himself like, God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. That's like one portion of it. Instead, there's many and various ways that Jesus interacts and that he talks to different people at different times and stuff. Okay, so that is Jesus on the Fly. This is what happens. Like we could probably just talk about this forever. And we would love to hear from you all and your responses. Like, you know, what do you think is a problem with judgment and our being judgmental and stuff? And how do you think we deal with that with still being able to have feedback, you know, in our relationships and in our churches, in our, you know, family of God, in our families and in our neighborhoods and stuff too. I think and on social media, like we have to be able to share hope, to give feedback, to share truth and love, and still juggle this like whole judgmental thing, I guess. So, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Whew, Jesus on the Fly. Dear Lord, help us be
it flew off the handle,
less judgmental.
Trying to get it back.
It was good. It was good. All right. So throw up your comments and your questions, and we want to hear from you. All right. Next week, more Matthew 7. We'll see you next time.
See ya.